To Trinidad and Tobago, and all our listeners on the World Wide Web. Roger, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, sir.
How you going? How you going?
I did. I don't know. I really don't know.
All right. So, Roger, this afternoon, we have online. When election has been called for the Tobago House of Assembly. This January 19th or something. January something. Yeah, early, and I can't say that was unexpected. The chief secretary dissolved the house a couple of weeks ago. So I didn't think you'd have called it now so quickly. But I'm happy with the people of Tobago. The democracy is alive and well, and he has called it, and election is in the air in Tobago. And we have on the line the political leader of the People's National Movement in Tobago, Mr. Ancil Dennis. Mr. Dennis, good afternoon.
Gentlemen, good afternoon. Good afternoon to your listeners and viewers across Trinidad and Tobago and the wider world. How are you all doing?
We are excellent. And what about you? How are you doing? How is Tobago?
I am great. Tobago is in full election mode.
Nice, man. Nice.
But very soon we have to switch to Christmas mode. But for now, it's election mode.
Yeah, I hear that. And yes, we need to just put it aside a little bit and celebrate the Christmas season. I want to go and ask this very straightforward question. The defection of Mr. Dinoon from the PNM, a senior member of the PNM, an executive member of a constituency and so on, senior person, from the PNM to the other party, the TPP. What kind of impact is it having on the PNM's psyche and PNM support and chances in Tobago as we speak?
Well, as you would know, and every PNM member will know, and I believe every citizen of this country will know as well, that the PNM is, in fact, the most stable political organization, not just in the country, but the region. And the PNM is not built upon any one individual. It's a party based on solid principles. It's a party about the people and not about a man or a woman. And therefore, whenever people exercise their democratic right to leave the PNM and seek personal opportunities elsewhere, that is fine. That is something we respect. That is something we congratulate them about. We say to them thanks for their contributions, and we wish them well as they go their merry way. So that will not impact the PNM and its chances. The PNM continues to be a solid organization as we go forward into this election.
Mr. Dennis, Mr. Dinoon is challenging you, coming up against you in the same electoral district. The conversation on this space is that he's popular, young, he has not been able to attract young support and possible voters because, how do you see that affecting your chances of winning that seat?
Well, I'm in it to win it. I lost it the last time by 2 votes. I took on the responsibility of leading this party through a very difficult period in opposition. We've maintained the pressure on those in the THA right now who are doing serious harm to the people of Tobago and to this island that we all love. I've partnered with the minority team, giving them the support, giving them the direction, and providing the leadership that has been required to get us to this point. I represented that district for 9 years, from 2013 to 2021. Even when I was not in office, I continued to give distinct service to the people of that district. I continued to support sporting organizations. I continue to support people in need, and the record is there to show. I continue to interact with the people. I continue to respond to their needs and to their calls and to their cries. So I am not bothered by anybody else who will want to challenge or vie to be the assemblyman for the district. Everybody has that freedom. Everybody has that choice. But I think the people of Bukom Mount Pleasant will know that their best chance of a return of solid representation, and it's not just about representation for the district, but their best chance of proper governance returning to the island is through a PNM administration and through Ancil Dennis, yours truly, as Chief Secretary of the island of Tobago. And I believe that the majority of Tobagonians understand and appreciate that. And I expect that to be reflected in the outcome of the election on January 12th.
Let me ask you, though, as you talk about leadership and yourself handling, emerging and taking on that responsibility, do you believe that Mr. Dinoon's crossing the floor, should I say, or migrating to another political party is a reflection on your leadership?
Of course not. Again, people are free to choose. And I think if any honest person was to make comparisons between my leadership and the leadership of the current Chief Secretary, and if any honest individual was to make a comparison between the PNM and the TPP, then it is obvious that the PNM is by far the best choice to govern Tobago, and it's obvious that I am the best choice to lead Tobago, and those who were not convinced of that before now ought to be convinced of that following the last 4 years that we have experienced. It's been a terrible time for the people of Tobago. It's been a rocky road for the people of Tobago. And therefore, sometimes people make decisions not because they believe in what they are getting into, but sometimes it has to do a lot with personal ambition and personal benefits. And again, it's a democracy, and people are free to pursue their dreams, their aspirations, personal and otherwise. So I think at the end of the day, we ought to focus on what is important in this election. This election is not about 21 years of the PNM. This election is not about any individual, but it's about 60,000 people living on this island. And our experiences over the last 4 years and what they plan upon on January the 12th, and that is where our focus will be. And therefore, I will not continue to let this situation be a part of my considerations and discourse going forward. We move towards January the 12th, and we are pretty confident that based on our vision that we will advance to the people of Tobago, and based on the strong case that we will make against the disrespect, against the mismanagement, and against the wickedness and victimization meted out to the people of Tobago by this current administration, then the people of Tobago will do what is right and will do what is in their best interest, which is to put Tobago first again.
But let me ask you, though, you're talking about 4 years, and that's 4 years of life in the THA period. But how do you separate that from the April the 28th, when the PNM again was swept of the general election, and the TPP also coveted and took the two parliamentary seats? I mean, how do you separate that?
Well,
they got a significant vote of confidence there, in my view.
Well, every election is different, and when you evaluate that election and you get down to the granular details, it showed a slide of support for this incumbent administration in the THA. Of course, they were PDP then, but it showed a significant slide of support from 2021 to then, and I expect that the slide will be greater even now. So, every election is different. For example, the PNM won the 2 Tobago seats in August of 2020 in the general election, and 5 months later we could not win the THA election. So every election is different, the issues are different, the environment and the context is different, and therefore people will vote differently. And in this election, we have to understand the context. And the context is that an administration took power in Tobago in 2021, promising to take Tobago to another level. And yes, we appreciate that sometimes moving from one level to another will take some time. But what Tobagonians did not expect, and what Tobagonians ought not to tolerate, is a significant decline and a significant regression in the island, its development, its people, and the THA as a whole. That is not something the people of Tobago ought to tolerate. And I know they will make a lot of excuses, and they have already started blaming the PNM central government, saying that they were stifled. They have all kinds of excuses, blaming everybody except themselves. And of course, they are giving a commitment that with the UNC now at the central government level, they will do better.
But I want to ask you, the PNM lost in 21. The TPP having split with Watson Juke, formed their own party. It appears and I know you clearly drill down in terms of the numbers and in terms of the general election and the THA election and the polling divisions and so on. But on the face of it, how has the PNM assessed their loss? Has the PNM assessed their loss in not only 2021 but this year, and put their house in order and is satisfied, having learned from these events of 21 and April 28 here, that they are what they are offering the people of Tobago is what the people of Tobago would want at this point in time from the PNM, in light of the fact that the signals they sent by voting against the PNM.
I am very confident that what we are offering as it relates to candidates, as it relates to our vision, as it relates to the style of the campaign, is exactly what the people of Tobago, especially the PNM members, have been asking for. We spent the last 4 years listening. We spent the last 4 years rebranding to some extent. We spent the last 4 years planning and interacting with the people of Tobago. So I am very much confident that what we're offering now reflects the needs and the desires of the people of Tobago. And we definitely will be positioning ourselves as a credible alternative to the TPP, a party that has not governed Tobago in the best interest of Tobagonians for the last 4 years.
Let me ask you, are you satisfied as the leader of the PNM in Tobago that you have been able to attract quality candidates? And quality here, not purely just academia and titles to their name, but people who are going to put Tobago first and work in it. Because one of the issues coming out of 21 and so on was that people felt that there was levels of arrogance and lost sight of the needs of the people of Tobago, and no longer working, for the small average person in Tobago generally. How satisfied are you with the candidates, the prospective candidates who offer themselves?
I am beyond satisfied, actually. I was very nervous when we put out our call for nominations, because it is always difficult to attract the best candidates in very difficult circumstances where we are in opposition, where the current THA brazenly victimizes people. I've had people tell me, look, are willing to support or they are willing to come on board and run for office. But if I submit nominations and I'm selected, can you guys wait until like 2 weeks before the election to announce me? By that time, my contract will be renewed. I've had several people have those conversations with me. And of course, I had to say to them that no, once we select the candidates, we expect that the candidates will get out there and start working on behalf of the people in their districts. And we completed our selection process since July 31st this year, some 3 months ago. So the victimization was a deterrent to many persons who wish to put themselves forward, because the island of Tobago, through the THA, employs a number of persons. And because you have all those talented, bright people dependent on the THA, in circumstances where this THA, led by Fali Augustine, has demonstrated that they have no qualms, they have no fear at all when it comes to victimizing people and carrying out retribution against their own people in Tobago. A lot of people were fearful, but notwithstanding that, I must say that an excellent cadre of quality people, 33 of them, submitted themselves to the process. And we were able out of that to select what I consider to be the best 15 to represent every district. And every candidate there has a track record of community service. Every candidate has a track record of leadership. Every candidate has the right attitude, an attitude of humility and service to the people of Tobago. Every candidate genuinely loves people. I've interacted with them. I've attended training sessions with them. I've been in the process over the last 3 months of getting to know them, of mentoring them, of providing guidance to them, of even learning from them. And I can tell you, based on those interactions, we have a group of people that are excited, that are committed, and that are willing to serve the people of Tobago with humility, with love, and with respect. And you will see that reflected in this campaign as we go forward. We're not going to be getting into all the back and forth and all the throwing of words and the throwing of blame. Of course, we will hold this administration accountable for the rubbish that they have done on this island for the last 4 years. But we will also be advancing a bold new vision to the people of Tobago. And that is where the bulk of the focus, that is where most of our energy will be going into during this campaign. We're not going to be distracted by the name calling. I see the Chief Secretary, unfortunately, referring to Tobagonians as children of Satan. One of the most vile politicians that this country has ever seen is referring to fellow Tobagonians as children of Satan. Of course, we're going to respond to these things. We're going to call them out for what they are when they do happen. But we will not be getting into the gutter with the TPP. If they want to keep their anchor embedded in the to them the anchor holes, we will be taking the people of Tobago upwards. We're going to take them to the mountaintop, and we hope that when they look over, they can see a Tobago that is far better than it is now in terms of our tourism, our agriculture, our youth programs, our healthcare, and every other aspect of government, our economy, job opportunities for Tobagonians. We will hope that when they look over from that mountaintop, that they can see the future that the PNM, led by me at this time, is calling us to into the next 4 years.
Mr. Dennis, I know, based on my interpretation of what you've said a little earlier, that with the crossing of the floor, as it were, by Mr. Denoon, you don't seem to want to focus there, but to focus on whatever strategies you may have. But the Denoon family is a deeply rooted family in the politics of Tobago. They are highly respected. That name, Denoon, resonates for years. Decades, going back to when Lennox Denoon was I think he was the single individual representing the PNM at a point in time. No. You have your history mixed up a bit. Lennox Denoon was a former chairman of the Tobago House of Assembly under the NAR. Right. The person you are referring to, who represented the PNM
for years as its lone assemblyman in THA is in fact Mr. William
Demand.
Mackenzie.
Right.
A man of great integrity.
Right.
A man who genuinely loved people. A man who, of course, put the people's interests above his own. So don't mix them up. There's a difference there.
Good. So I thank you for the correction. But the fact is, Lennox Denone, as chairman of the THA during the period 92 to 96, under the Denone family is a known family, a respected family, who have contributed over the years. And now this younger Denone, who, now I don't know the gentleman, but I'll have to say carries on the name, the Denone name. While I hear you say about focusing on your strategy, I wonder if not facing directly the fact that Denone, a member of the PNM, crossed the floor, coming out of a respected family, might be minimizing that what took place there. Your response, sir?
No, well, I don't have anything else to say on that, as I said
which
before.
Is what you said. You're not focusing there.
Yeah, as I said before,
you have no interest in that.
That will not continue to be a feature of my discourse and considerations going forward. As a matter of fact, there are more important things. As I said before, an election is not about an individual. In fact, I don't even believe many people in Tobago vote based on individuals. People vote, of course, the party that they trust to lead an administration. Of course, they will vote based on the issues of the day. What are the things that are important to them? And whether or not they believe this current administration will deliver, or if they have delivered in the first place, or if they believe that the PNM should return based on the issues. And then, of course, you have a few people who will vote because I'm a friend, or I like this one, or I know this one. And that's fine. That's part of democracy, right? But this election is bigger than any individual. And therefore, I wouldn't spend time focusing on any individual. My focus is on the people of Tobago and our future as an island. And that is what this election is about. Those who may wish to focus on their own personal benefit, I want to caution them, because I know in this election, other bribe will happen, right? The TPP, the party that we're coming up against, and it has already started. I'm aware of candidates going to Tobagonians and giving them money to support them and giving them money to move the ground, as they like to say.
Mr. Dennis?
And I want to caution them just now that while you may benefit personally from a little $10,000 or $15,000 in your pocket, you have to consider what will happen to you when that money finishes and what kind of future you will have as a Tobagonian living on this island going forward.
We are upon the 4 o'clock news. My one comment, Mr. Dennis, is that elections are about winning the election. Step 1, how do I win the election? We go to the 4 o'clock.
Thanks for your time. Thanks, sir. Thanks for chatting with us.
No problem.
Have a good one.